Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the core teachings of Stoicism, and one of the greatest truths of life, is the idea of control. The Stoics believe that almost all human suffering comes from confusing what we can control with what we can't. We spend so much energy trying to change people, outcomes, and situations that are far beyond our reach, and in doing so, we destroy our inner peace. You cannot control how others think, how they behave, or how they treat you. You cannot rewrite your past, undo your mistakes, or predict what tomorrow will bring. These things belong to fate, to the universe, not to you. But there is one thing that's always been and will always remain under your control: your mind, your thoughts, your perceptions, your reactions. These are your true kingdom. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the foundation of Stoic wisdom. When you accept that the world will not bend to your desires, you stop wasting energy on resistance. You stop trying to force outcomes, and instead, you focus on how you respond to them. Every negative emotion, anger, fear, anxiety, jealousy, arises when you try to control something that's not yours to control. Someone insults you, you try to control their respect. You lose something, you try to control loss itself. But life is not meant to be controlled. It's meant to be navigated with calm acceptance. The moment you draw the line and say, "This is what I can control, and this is what I cannot," you begin to reclaim your peace. You stop being a victim of external chaos and start becoming the master of your internal world. You begin to see that peace is not found in changing life, but in changing the way you see life. When you focus on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, your discipline, you take back your power. And when you accept what you cannot control, other people, fate, time, you free yourself from frustration and despair. This is the Stoic path to inner strength, not through domination, but through acceptance. Control your focus, and negativity loses its grip. That's where peace begins, not outside you, but within you. 2. Turn pain into power. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every struggle, every heartbreak, and every disappointment carries within it a hidden lesson. The Stoics believe that life is not meant to be free of pain. It's meant to strengthen you through it. Every challenge is a test of character, not a punishment from fate. When you begin to see pain this way, it stops being something to avoid and becomes something to transform. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They complain, blame others, drown their pain in distractions, but avoidance only keeps you weak. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Face it, feel it, and learn from it. Because every time you endure pain consciously, you grow tougher, wiser, and more disciplined. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you who you truly are and what truly matters. When you face loss, you learn the value of gratitude. When you fail, you learn humility and resilience. When people betray you, you learn independence and emotional strength. Life is constantly shaping you through hardship, but only if you allow yourself to be shaped. Instead of saying, "Why me?" the victim's question, ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift in mindset transforms suffering into growth. Think about the strongest people you know. None of them became that way through ease or comfort. They were forged in fire, molded by rejection, failure, and pain. What broke others made them unbreakable. Pain is not a curse, it's a forge. It refines your character, builds discipline, and awakens the strength that comfort hides. When you stop fearing pain, it loses control over you. You begin to understand that every wound is an opportunity to build resilience, every setback a chance to build endurance, and every moment of struggle a lesson in patience. Pain becomes your ally, the fire that burns away weakness and leaves behind strength. So the next time life tests you, don't run. Stand tall, breathe, learn. Remember, pain is not the end of your strength, it's the beginning of it. Turn your pain into power and you'll rise above chaos stronger than ever before. 3. Train your mind daily. A strong mind is not something you're born with. It's something you build through consistent training. Just like a muscle grows through resistance, your mind strengthens through challenge, awareness, and discipline. The Stoics understood that mental strength is not created in moments of comfort, but in daily practice, in how you think. Okay, reflect and respond to life. Every day is an opportunity to sharpen your mind. Begin your mornings with silence or reflection instead of chaos. Before the world demands your attention, take time to center yourself. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and ask, what kind of person do I want to be today? This moment of mindfulness sets the tone for your entire day. Journaling is another powerful Stoic practice. When you write your thoughts, fears, and emotions on paper, you learn to observe them instead of being controlled by them. You start to see your mind from a distance, as an observer, not a victim. This awareness helps you separate reality from reaction and peace from panic. Mental discipline also means controlling what you feed your mind. Guard your attention as you would your most valuable treasure. The news, negativity, then opinions of others can cloud your inner clarity if you allow them to. What you focus on, you become. So focus on wisdom, not worry. Every thought you challenge, every emotion you manage, every reaction you pause. These are mental push-ups. Over time, they build resilience, patience, and clarity. A disciplined mind doesn't seek control over the world. It seeks control over itself. When you train your mind daily, negativity loses its hold, and chaos no longer shakes your peace. Remember, strength of the body fades with time, but strength of the mind lasts forever. 4. Detach from outcomes. One of the hardest but most liberating lessons in life is learning to detach from outcomes. You can control your effort, your attitude, and your preparation, but you cannot control how things turn out. The Stoics believe that peace is found not in success or failure, but in doing your duty without attachment to the result. We live in a world obsessed with results, grades, money, followers, recognition. We're taught to measure our worth by outcomes. But the truth is, outcomes are never fully in your hands. You may give everything you have and still lose. You may do everything right and still fail. When you base your peace on results, you hand your happiness over to chance. Stoicism teaches a different approach. Focus only on what's within your control, your actions, not the outcome. Give your best with full sincerity, then let go. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. Attachment to results creates anxiety, fear, and disappointment. But when you detach, you find freedom, the kind that allows you to stay calm no matter what happens. The key is presence. Be fully engaged in the moment, not in the fantasy of what might happen. Do your work with intention and excellence, and then surrender the rest to fate. The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of whatever happens. When you detach from outcomes, failure doesn't break you, and success doesn't control you. You remain steady, grounded, and at peace. You stop living for what if, and start living for what is. True peace belongs to those who give their best, not for recognition, but for self-respect. Do your part, release the rest, and you'll find a strength the world cannot take away. 5. Focus on virtue, not validation. In today's world, everyone's chasing validation, the approval of others through likes, comments, praise, and recognition. Social media and modern culture have trained us to measure our worth by how others see us, not by who we truly are. But the Stoics believe the opposite. Your value does not come from applause, it comes from virtue, from the strength of your character, not the noise of the crowd. Virtue means living with honesty, courage, discipline, and integrity, even when no one's watching. It means choosing what is right over what is popular. The Stoics taught that a person guided by virtue needs no validation because they are anchored in their own principles. When you live according to your values, you become untouchable by negativity, judgment, or gossip. The need for validation is a subtle form of slavery. It keeps you chasing approval instead of purpose. You start to mold yourself to please others, forgetting your own truth. But when you shift your focus from being liked to being right, from looking good to being good, you free yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That simple rule defines Stoic virtue. Your goal should not be to impress people. It should be to live with excellence of character. When you focus on virtue, you no longer react to criticism or seek constant reassurance. You stand firm in who you are. Negativity loses its grip because your peace is rooted in inner values, not external approval. Live with virtue, not for validation, because the world— forget your name, but it can never erase the strength of your character. 6. Embrace discomfort.
Comfort's pleasant, but it's also dangerous. It dulls the mind, weakens the spirit, and makes you fragile in the face of life's challenges. The Stoics understood that true strength isn't built in ease, it's built in discomfort. Struggle, pain, and uncertainty are not punishments. They're the training grounds of the soul. Every moment of discomfort carries a lesson. If you're brave enough to face it, modern life teaches us to avoid struggle at all costs. We want soft routines, easy wins, and constant convenience. But the Stoics did the opposite. They practiced discomfort on purpose to prepare their minds for reality. They would fast to test their discipline, sleep on the floor to break attachment to luxury, walk in silence to master their thoughts. They knew that when you choose voluntary discomfort,
Your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. When you step outside your comfort zone, you begin to grow. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you teach your mind resilience. Every time you face fear instead of fleeing, you build courage. Every time you endure hardship without complaining, you develop emotional power. These moments, though uncomfortable, are the foundation of inner strength. The Stoics believe that the calmest people are not those who avoid storms, but those who train themselves to stand still in the middle of them. Discomfort trains your soul to remain steady when everything around you shakes. It teaches you to respond with clarity instead of panic, with patience instead of fear. So stop running from struggle. Stop chasing constant comfort. Choose small hardships every day. Wake up early. Exercise when you don't feel like it. Face the truth even when it hurts, and stay disciplined when your mind begs for escape. Each act of endurance shapes you into someone stronger than your circumstances. Don't just survive the storm, become the storm. Let discomfort shape you, harden you, and purify you. Because comfort may feel safe, but it never creates greatness. Strength is born in struggle, and peace is found when you no longer fear it. 7. Remember, you are temporary. One of the most profound truths the Stoics taught is the awareness of impermanence. The reminder that everything in life is temporary. Every joy, every sorrow, every victory, every failure, all of it will eventually pass. When you truly understand this, you stop clinging so tightly to things that don't last, and you begin to find peace in the present moment. The Stoics practiced this awareness daily. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that both the praised and the forgotten, the conqueror and the conquered, will soon fade into dust. It wasn't meant to create sadness. It was meant to create perspective. When you remember that time will eventually erase everything, you stop tacking your problems so personally. The insult, the loss, the fear, they shrink in importance when you see them in the light of eternity. This realization also destroys negativity. Why waste your short, precious life holding grudges, complaining, or living in anger? The moment you're living right now will never come again. Each breath is a gift, each sunrise a reminder that you still have time to do something meaningful. When you remember that you are temporary, you begin to appreciate life, not control it. Impermanence is not something to fear, it's something to be grateful for. It gives life its beauty and urgency. If everything lasted forever, nothing would matter. The limited nature of life gives every moment its depth and every choice its value. So instead of trying to control life, learn to experience it fully. Instead of chasing perfection, pursue purpose. Love deeply, act courageously, and forgive quickly, because nothing you see or feel today will remain the same tomorrow. The Stoics believe that remembering your mortality, memento mori, is not morbid, but motivating. It wakes you up. It reminds you that while you can't control how long you live, you can control how well you live. When you accept that you are temporary, you stop fearing endings and start embracing beginnings. You stop chasing control and start living with peace. Because the truth is, life's brevity isn't a curse. It's what makes it worth living.